All right, Connie says, hi, my dogs bark at every dog and the people we pass by. How do we correct that? Okay, we need age of dog and breed. So I'm gonna answer this as if your puppy was under 6 months old. So the first thing you wanna get is a really good body language redirect. And what I mean by that is if you can't walk your pup on a loose leash and turn, and they turn with you and target food, or maybe you haven't trained with food but they're just learning body language, that's what you want to get in a more sterile environment first, and then in an environment with just smells before you can expect anything when it comes to people and other dogs. Specifically for you, it's other dogs. The other big thing that you want to do is space. You have to utilize however much space you need in order to be able to get that turn, and your dog turns with you. Over 6 months old, it's a different ball game, but hopefully that gives you some ideas to work on at home. It's really about learning how to utilize your space.
If you want more detail on that one, look at our last class, our number 20 or whatever one we're on today.
20, yeah.
And we talked all about threshold in like multiple parts of the video. Working really above threshold, below threshold. Yes,
we're
Bethany.
really far away.
It's because we didn't scoot the chair up.
Can we scoot the chair up?
Sorry,
I feel
guys.
weird. Hi.
Okay.
Oh, hello.
I can't cross my leg now.
Oh, okay. Anyway, yes, working under threshold, over threshold. That's what he was talking about before I interrupted him. We talked about that in number 20 last week. Was there anything else you'd like to add?
No, we're good.
Okay.
Top one. Okay.
I can't even read that.
I know. Young eyes.
Yeah. Oh my God! You didn't say that.
Angie Delap or Delap, whatever it is. Angie. So my puppy is 4.5 months old. I'm gonna pay for that one later, guys. Just so you know. Her name is Mia, a Shih Tzu. She is well trained, already to go inside her pee pad, inside her large box. So when we remove the box, she pees at the corners of the pee pad. Sometimes half inside, half outside. What to do to center her peeing position to avoid the half in, half out situation. So
I don't know. I'm not a pee pad. Do you know?
I'm not, but I go through a lot of this just with all the puppies every day. We have one client that's still doing a lot of potty pads. So when she was struggling, and we used to do like a little fenced-in area that's kind of like the box that you were mentioning, probably for you guys. In order to build up that area so she doesn't pee outside of it, put down 3 or 4 pee pads. And then as they get more pinpoint to the middle, start eliminating those pee pads. If they still can't make it on the middle, then you have a corner peer. Just, it is what it is. We got a phrase for it, guys. Come on now, corner peer. It's a thing. But then put up your box, put up your playpen again. Some dogs can do it, some dogs can't. We personally recommend getting them outside as soon as possible, even if that means taking a potty pad. If you're in like an apartment, a condo, put it outside on your patio if you have one, or even like the little front area right outside your door. So they get used to going outside of your apartment / condo / home instead of going inside. You want to add?
No, sounds good to me.
Corner peer?
I'm a corner peer.
Yeah.
If you got a corner peer.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna move on to something that's more my speed. All right, M. Banks. Okay, I did a brilliant video on how to teach your puppy to fetch, and it was in like 60 seconds, and I was sped up, which was hilarious. And this is a comment about that. What do you do if the dog won't come all the way back with the toy? My 1.5-year-old rescue pup doesn't understand to bring the ball back. He drops it halfway. So this sounds like it's not about the recall, because I showed that in the 60-second video. You use the leash, you target to place. Okay, anyway. This is about not gripping the toy and bringing it all the way to you. I have a few thoughts. My first thought would be you're using a ball, and some dogs won't do the tug toys. They won't. They really love the ball. But get rid of the ball for a couple of weeks and really, they don't have a choice. If they want to play with you, they got to play with the tug toy. And the reason why is I love that relationship that you can build between your dog. And he had the tug video if you did want to go back and look at that.
Cute little dude.
Blanton. Mm-hmm. And it's like tug, hold still, drop it, sit, good, break, give it back, or fetch it up, whatever word you're using when you throw the ball. This develops that really nice relationship dynamic of it's like you have to bring it all the way back and I also play with you, right? Then you're gonna toss it a foot. You're gonna get that really good first, then toss it a foot. Dog brings it back, tug, tug, tug. Toss it 2 feet, 3 feet. You're gonna slowly build this up, and then you're gonna start to do the same thing with the ball, okay? It's gonna be short distances, but the reason I say start with that tug is because you need to, obviously, you need to build some sort of relationship between the two of you that helps the puppy understand that that this is the dynamic, is what I'm trying to say.
Bite pressure.
Yeah, the bite pressure. So I did have a German Shepherd, my first German Shepherd as an adult, struggled with this a lot. And honestly, anytime I threw it more than 15 feet, he just wouldn't bring it back. I tried food, I tried another toy, and that just motivated him to drop the ball faster and come back to me faster, which was great. So honestly, with him, he was not into tug. I could not get him to grip a toy to save my life. He was a rescue dog. I didn't get to like hone that in, and I know you have a rescue pup too. So some dogs just won't tug and do that bite. Anyway, what I started to do with him is shorter distances, and then targeting him to place was a big deal. So I didn't look like I was gonna reach for the ball at all. It was just, Charlie, come on, buddy, place, over there, place. And he'd be much more likely to take the ball to his spot. Then I would get the ball back from him. And then the other little tweak that I started doing when I started throwing it further is he would run out to get the ball, and then I would run and cut the distance in half and draw him all the way back into me, and then go to place. So it was a lot of work on the human's part, but if you could imagine, I'm throwing it 20 feet, and then I run 10 feet, so we're still only 10 feet apart, which was kind of his limit. Charlie, good boy, come on, let's go. And I wouldn't reach for the ball or anything like that where he thought, you know, I wanted him to drop it, and I would just motivate him like crazy. Let's go, buddy, come on, and run back 10 feet to place. So anyway, does that make sense? This dynamic, you're looking at me weird. That makes sense? Were you even listening?
I was, but I'm also, wow, yeah.
Anyway,
I do have something to add though.
Those two techniques will hopefully get you where you need to go to bridge that gap.
But now we have to also give the other side of that.
What's the other side of it?
You're building up more of a tug mentality. So there's the
so.
drop, it's going to be a little bit more challenging. So after you do that, eventually you're going to get to the point to where that drop will be a little bit more challenging because the dog's more driven to do the tug. Watch the video with Blanton. Just give you some easy techniques to bring the nose away. That's it. That's all I got. I don't do fetch. Fetch is her game. All I know is that I deal with dogs that want to hold on that toy really strong.
Well, that's why you work on the tug first. Then you work on the ball, the throw, and meet the dog halfway and run back.
Build up drive. You have to address drive.
He wasn't listening.
I listened to part of it. There was a lot though.
He wasn't listening. It was all very helpful.
Incredibly. Yep.
Okay, Dad, calm down.
Okay. All right. We're moving on, everybody. We're moving on. All right. Sarah Calloway says, my puppy will sit, but how do I start to teach the permanent part? I'm guessing stay?
Stay?
Yeah.
Well, we did have someone comment in.
No. We're not going to talk about comment.
Whenever you're teaching stay, I focus more on coming back to the dog and reinforcing the fact that they need to stay in the one spot, then calling them to us. One of the biggest mistakes a lot of trainers will make is they'll do sit, down, stay, or sit, stay. They walk back 10 feet, the dog holds it, and then they call them to them 10 times in a row.
Creates anticipation, and the puppy can't wait. You may not even be able to do that. She may be at the phase where she's just sitting, or the puppy's sitting, and you're standing in front of your puppy. Good. Pause. Food.
And then slowly rock back. It doesn't mean that you're taking big steps. It's just literally stay.
Tiny one.
Little baby rock, step back. The puppy's already getting ready to move. Move in close. Good. Treat.
And start with place. If you're struggling, you need to teach place and sit. That's really the way to go. Because get a cot or a bed that's like a little bit raised up, and so that way when they step off and you move in towards them to kind of reset them, it gives them this boundary. It's super helpful. So I would say start with place. Okay, Madison says, what's the best way to beg a parent into getting a dog? Don't do it. Because if this puppy is a menace, then you're to blame.
Trust.
You are to blame big time. I've seen dogs like be serious. I've been a therapist so many times in families.
Just do what I did. Just show up one day with one.
Don't no. Do it. Okay, we're moving on, Madison. I'm very sorry, but you're gonna
ask very nicely and show them that you're mature enough.
Yeah, exactly.
To handle.
So don't ask. Stop asking for the next 3 months. and have a game plan of all the things you're going to do around the house, all the things that you're going to show that you're a responsible person under 18, I'm assuming, and start being really helpful and show that level of maturity. And then it's like the same thing asking for a raise. And then in 3 months, come back around and be like, I have done this, I've done this, I've done this. Could we now talk seriously about me getting a pet? Boom! And if your parents say no, I'm sorry. Okay, Jen Lee in Todd says 15-week pup acting scared. Around new people, she hides.
That can be a challenging one.
Oh, that's so challenging. I'm so sorry you're dealing with that. Poor puppy.
Sometimes puppies just feel like there's a lot of pressure. For them to say hi.
They're puppies.
So try to take 2 weeks and don't make her say hi to anyone. Don't allow anyone to say hi to her.
2
weeks? I know. Hey,
she's being.
I think they can manage it.
No. I was gonna say this. You're being nice. This is a scared puppy. I'm talking.
Well, I know, but I don't want to scare him off. Start with 2 weeks. Start with 2 weeks. 2 months. 2 weeks, and then build your way up to the 2 months. So see in 2 weeks how much confidence builds, and then in 2 months you might say confidence. Okay, so someone approaches your puppy.
If you can't tell, we're kind of tired today.
We did a 7-hour video shoot, and then both had our own dogs to go train after.
Yeah.
So
that was 3 days ago. You're still recovering.
We're punchy.
We'll be recovering for 2 weeks. Are you kidding me?
But no. So what you want to do is you want to make it all about you. Stop having other people pet your puppy. Immediately when they make googly eyes at your puppy, be like, oh, sorry, we're training, she's shy. And be very clear. Even move in a bit. If I got my little puppy, oh, I'm sorry, she's training, she's kind of shy, we're training. Make it so clear.
Football push.
Yeah, and rules, when people come in the house, go ahead and tell them, like, don't even look, no touch, no talk, no eye contact. Take all that pressure off of your puppy. Make it all about you and the puppy. Food work, relationship, trust. 2 weeks to 2 months, and your puppy will stop feeling like the world doesn't care about how she feels.
You're advocating for her.
You're advocating for her, because that's how your puppy feels right now. The world, nature, is not listening to her. People, the human race, nature, cars are evil. They're coming at her. Nothing is listening to her. And so she feels overwhelmed and nervous. And she's probably genetically a bit of a nervous puppy. So you're going to have to do some research and take that into account. So
I'm curious if that's something that just popped up or it's been like that for a while.
15 weeks
so
acting scared. It's so young. So young.
Yeah, just show her that you guys are going to advocate for her, that you're in charge of the situation. She'll start taking her cues from you guys instead of cues from the people of then approaching.
Yep, she'll feel like you've got her back, and you're not going to let people bother her anymore till she's ready. And it might be a while, and then it's okay. It really is okay. You don't have to have a dog that loves everybody.
Mm-hmm. This is actually kind of similar to me. So Sawyer McKenna, how to introduce a new puppy to your 3-year-old dog. So how we mentioned advocate for the little puppy on the last one, you need to advocate for your 3-year-old dog from the puppy.
Yeah.
So imagine there's 2 weeks of that puppy socializing minimally with the 3-year-old dog. Let him get used to the situation of having a puppy in the house. It's a very big change for a lot of dogs.
Yeah.
Ricky almost got a second dog. Her dog stayed outside the whole night. So it's a thing.
Just bring Ricky into it.
Smiling nod.
She's like, thank you so much. So sometimes your 3-year-old may not like the puppy. And if that's the case, you have to adapt to that really, really quick. Some older dogs, they do not like puppies. They're not respectful. They're in their face. They feel forced to react or move away or whatever the case is. So pay attention to those cues from your older dog and make sure you're adjusting accordingly. Even if they're great together, you want to do short supervised sessions. By short, I mean like 10 to 20 minutes tops of supervising them together, and then hours of breaks in between. That's really important. Okay.
Keep them on a leash.
Yes,
use the
leash.
playpen. Crate is the most important thing. That's like a 2-hour break for your older dog from the puppy completely. But yeah, I would say leash. Anytime they're socializing, just let the puppy drag around a leash. So it gets too much for the older dog, pull them away. Do we have any questions up there?
Yeah, we've got someone who says, do you have pits? Personally, no. I've got 4 dogs, not a pit bull.
I got a pitty.
You got a pitty.
I got a 7-year-old pitty.
Yeah, and at the Puppy Academy itself, yeah, we get bullies all the time. Junko says, my puppy is 10 months old, so adolescent puppy, clarification. And when he has an item in his mouth, when you reach for it, he becomes aggressive. So this is because you're reaching for it. Now, I'm not saying it's okay that your 10-month-old puppy is guarding, but I will say that how to create guarding in a puppy under 6 months old is to constantly reach and pull things out of their mouth. So if, just for any of you out there, you've got to immediately switch that. If you've got a puppy under 6 months old and that's your habit, you feel like you're doing this constantly, chasing down your puppy, pulling out a sock, pulling out, rocks, whatever it might be, you're going to need to be more preventative, or you can create resource guarding. What I would say for your 10-month-old is you're going to need to seek professional help. This is aggression. This is resource guarding. It's a very primal behavior, and it's very common. In the meantime, you need to have your dog dragging around a leash all the time when they're in the house, and you will no longer reach into the mouth for anything. You will grab the end of the leash, not the leash by the neck, but you'll step on the end of the leash calmly if it picks something up.
So they can't back off.
So they can't back up. Then bend down, pick up the leash, and then you're going to do pressure up and away from you and have the dog until the dog just kind of settles down and hopefully drops it on their own. You can do a trade, but I wouldn't get in the habit of that, but it's something that you can use in a pinch, and you're going to have to get some professional help.
Would you use slip lead or flat collar?
Oh, so I would use slip lead for sure. And supervised only. The dog would never be on slip leash unsupervised.
And if you don't know what slip lead is, just Google it or look it up on Amazon. It comes up real quick.
Yeah. All right.
Alrighty. Archie, I'm a doodle. Welcome back, Archie, I'm a doodle. Is what sounds like aggressive growling okay during sibling puppy playtime?
Oh, probably.
It's pretty common. I think what you should look out for is how the puppy play starts, and then what it looks like 5 minutes later, even 3 minutes later.
That's a good
Because
point.
escalation, not so okay. If I get a puppy that's doing, don't make fun of Bethany. I already know. I have to say this. If I get rawr, rawr, rawr,
what
stop
the heck was that?
in the beginning, and then 10 minutes later get rawr, 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 then I'm like, okay. Then I know that escalation is probably them getting maybe a little bit frustrated. I'm also looking for the give and take of play. If one puppy is going towards the other one's always backing off, then that's usually when the escalation of the growling will kick in a bit, because that one that feels like he's pushing in is going to feel a little bit stronger, a little bit more dominant. So you got to make sure there's balanced play. We take 10-minute training sessions. We break them up after about 5 to 6 minutes just to see what kind of personalities we're getting. If we're getting a lot of pushiness, we say, yeah, definitely need to break that up. Maybe one of them goes in the crate, one of them stays in a playpen, or vice versa. I'm thinking usually you have friends coming over to your house and they don't both bring a crate, so you don't have 2 crates, but you always have a playpen and a crate usually.
And there's different personalities. You might have really nice give and take play with one doggy friend. And what I mean by that is apparently it's rawr, rawr, rawr. And then the other puppy goes rawr, rawr, rawr. As the other puppy backs off and settles down. And so it's very balanced, as he mentioned. It's very give and take. But then other types of puppies will keep trying to one up each other until they have a fight.
Labs.
Labs. and a lot of bullies too will do that.
Yeah.
So anyway, just keep an eye on that. German Shepherds. Okay, so
German Shepherds,
any driven
sure.
dog will do that basically.
Any kind of work dog.
Yeah.
They literally work to do that exact thing. They build drive.
Yeah. So just keep an eye on that and mix in some recalls. So with your friends, be like, look, I've been watching this really great trainer show on Instagram and on TikTok, and they suggested that every 2 to 3 minutes we recall our puppies to us and do a sit, piece of food, and then break and let them go again. And so that's something you want to interrupt the cycle of play regularly and still be relevant to the situation.
I think we should also mention too, we mentioned with our 3-year-old dog and their puppy, how to have the puppy drag around a leash. I don't do that when I have 2 dogs both dragging around a leash, because they tend to get caught up and tangled and it could lead to more frustration. What's your thoughts on putting a leash on the dog that tends to be more of the aggressor, not aggressive, but just more pushy, and then not putting one on the other dog and using body blocks for that one? What's your thoughts on that?
It depends. I like having leashes on dogs.
On both?
But yeah, on both dogs. But I won't, you are right. I've definitely been in some situations where I'm like, I gotta do some untangling, but that does make me feel more comfortable than not. I don't mind it kind of depends on how heavily you're gonna manage play.
Yeah.
Puppies, they can be more wily and be more likely to get wound up. That is a good point. point. Kind of adults, I'll keep lower key, and I don't mind having leashes on multiple dogs. But yeah, it's just, you just got to play around with what works for you and what feels comfortable to you.
Yeah, I don't personally think if I had multiple leashes on, I'd be holding both leashes like two different
be
adults.
Dragging, so you can control the situation. Yeah.
Stepping on it, whatever needs to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, speaking of amazing trainers, why don't you read that
long one?
I can't paraphrase, so Bethany gets it.
All right. Carol says, she says amazing trainers. Thank you, Carol. Thank you. That's what you meant. Okay.
That's all I want.
I was like, I didn't know what you're talking about, so I just let it go. All right. 7-month-old large male Goldendoodle. Loves everyone and every dog. I'm sure he does. When we're out walking, he sees anything, he immediately lays down waiting. So that means he's stalking. Awesome. Then he'll get up, want to play, come over to play, continue walking by. He's really sweet. Hard to walk by. Hard to walk very far without us seeing another dog. He gets really frustrated. I try to keep him up when I see any coming, but he's too heavy and too fast. Okay, so
he's doing the lay down into the
he's trying to manipulate it. It's actually a stalking technique. Playful, but sometimes I try to pull him up on his harness, but honestly, he's too heavy. You might want to get a little bit more control of the head. You could look into some ideas for that.
Slip lead, something we mentioned earlier. Even if you use a harness for your main walk.
I know you look crazy, but a harness and a slip lead is actually really maneuverable. Think
we
of
do
it like
quite
a horse.
often.
Think of it like a horse, yeah. But
anyway.
Basically,
slip lead guides the head to get him out of those situations, and the harness is going to be your main walking tool.
Yeah.
Until you're comfortable enough to hire a trainer or like do something that gives you more control.
The other option you have is building a ton more food drive. That way you get a little bit more focus. Your dog's a little older though, so you just have to play around with what you want. You do need to prevent that from happening though. The other thing that I would do is start working with your space. So let's say you see someone down the block, you're immediately going to turn, immediately, the moment you guys both see it, and you're going to walk. You'll walk in the same direction, actually, because if you turn and go the other way, you guys are both walking. Go nice and slow, and you can cross the street, or as the other person and dog passes, you turn and go the other way. So keep everything in motion. That
very
would be
strategic.
It is very strategic,
like it.
yeah. And I would keep everything in motion as much as possible and stay away from letting him down.
I like doing body blocks. I like to pull them off on like driveways or maybe like the grass off to the side. If you have path to your side or driveway on your left, move over there, then ask for the down or let him do the down.
He's downing anyway, yeah.
But you have to do it before they see the dog. Or when you see the dog's 300 feet away and they haven't laid down yet, move off to the side and just play the waiting game. Let them come by, and then I actually stand in front of the dog blocking their line of sight with my body. They stand up, I shift to block their view. I mean, you're not fully blocking their view, but you are becoming a presence that keeps them from moving past you. You have the guidance of your leash, you have the guidance of that slip lead we were just mentioning to push out and use your body to kind of keep control of. So
control the situation.
Dog tries to push, you push back.
So try to play around with those two things, and hopefully it'll give you some leverage. The other thing is just to practice if you have a front driveway and it's pretty active, or if you go to a park and you've got all this space and then there's a walkway. Work off of the walkway with the amount of space you need to get your dog to turn with you. That might be 30 feet from the walkway to start. We just happen to have a really great park that's perfect for this. Tons of park space with a really nice walkway that everybody goes by. So we work the dogs off the walkway. And then over the course of a few weeks, we get closer and closer and closer to the actual people and dogs walking by. So there's just a few things for you to play with. Okie dokie, I've got a few more questions on here. My Doodle Bricks says 5.5 Goldendoodle, petrified of going in the car. She hates getting in. How do I help with that? Food, you're gonna have to leverage food. And I would, if I'm really diligent about this, my dog is going to eat in the car. If it doesn't eat in the car, it doesn't eat. And I know that sounds really scary, but it only takes usually a few meals. And you don't turn the car on or anything. First, we just start with hop in the car and get food. And then I want you to open up both doors, get someone to help you, and open up both back doors, and maybe have someone on the other side, and so it feels nice and open, and they're calling the dog in while you're guiding them in, and just make it a routine, an actual obedience routine, and don't even go anywhere yet. Those would be a couple of my suggestions.
I like that. I usually pick dog up, put them in, counter condition, give food, release to the point where they'll take food. I also like skipping the morning meal and then using that entire morning meal, like Bethany was saying, to build up drive. Dog's hungry, I'll use it to get them in the car, or once I have them in the car, I'll just give them 5 or 6 pieces at a time over 5-10 minutes, build it up that way.
Yeah, and you might have to use treats for a couple of days, which I know is not the best on the body, but if it gets you over a hump and then you go to using the dog's food, that can be really useful. Even get creative and go out there and get dog food. There's so much dog food now that's like people food. Do that for just a few days to give yourself leverage so you're not using just cheese for 2-3 days in a row. That's another idea.
I also don't let them pace. Seatbelt, something, some kind of harness.
Yeah, no pacing.
The only one that's truly been crash rated, if you guys ever want to get like an actual good car harness, is a Sleepy Pod.
What is it?
Sleepy Pod.
Sleepy Pod?
Yeah, I mumble.
P-O-D?
Yeah, P-O-D.
Okay,
like,
cool.
Sleep Pod.
All right. So I think...
We got one more on this paper.
My bad. We're not done.
Because it was sent in. Suzanne, don't worry. We didn't forget about you.
Sorry, Suzanne.
At what age should we start training? 8 weeks too early? He's an English setter.
It's never too early.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Service dogs start training, like service dog places start training their puppies when they're blind with like following milk around on different surfaces. It's never too early. Never.
Really?
You didn't know that?
No, 5 weeks is what I've always been told.
How did you're a service dog?
I know. It's because I don't train dogs when
he
they're
trains
blind
older.
still.
You jerk. You're such a jerk. This whole thing has just been...
They're never too young. I think we're funny. I hope you guys
I'm glad you find yourself entertaining.
I think that they're never too young. 8 weeks
Never
especially
too
is not
young.
too young, but we've made a couple videos of like doing like relationship building exercises where we just teach them to follow food,
Yep.
food to the nose, guide them and lure them. That's Bethany's favorite, luring techniques,
Yeah.
rewarding for that. Eventually building up space and then calling them to you, using their name and having them know that anytime they hear their name, they're being called and it's for a reward for food. Yeah, just do a lot of food work.
Just remember, 8 to 10, 12 weeks old, even really small breed puppies that take longer to mature, you can teach all of your basic obedience in a few weeks. What you're not going to get is your stay.
Impulse work.
Yeah, you're not going to get the stay, that type of impulse control, but targeting place, sit, down, come, let's go, all the luring, you can get that so fast. And then you can go ahead and start doing your crate and waiting at the crate door. Use your crate door as a spatial pressure to move into your puppy. Teaches them to back off and wait. You can do that right away. I love that. You can do so many things really quickly, believe it or not. I don't want to overwhelm you, but there's just no limits.
I think that's actually something we got a key on what you just said. That's so important. You can teach a dog basic commands in 2 days if you really focus on them. Mm-hmm. What's the hardest thing, what people think is the quickest, is distraction work, impulse control. Yeah. Teaching them how to stay, teaching them to relax and not be distracted by a dog walking by. Half the questions we had today. Yeah. That's what takes the longest, months, years sometimes.
So put the foundation work in now. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, cool. I had one more thing popped up. Let's see. What was it? Where'd you go? Somebody said something about us. I want to know what it was. Oh, you guys are great. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Us happy.
It was an interesting day.
Toots our horn a little bit.
Jenny says, wish you were in Florida. Oh, hi. Or Jen Lynn, Todd. There we go. Thanks, Jen. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Join us next week, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Wednesday. Bye.
See you guys. Bye.